Friends, today we will face a moral dilemma, and the main character of this story needs your advice too. So, make sure to watch till the end and share your thoughts on what he should do. This story takes place in a small village in Brazil, a village so tiny that only about 70 families lived there. These families had been there for centuries. This was their ancestral land, and they loved it deeply. Since the village was in the mountains, it was quite isolated from the rest of the mainland. But more than that, it was believed to be haunted. There was a legend about a headless hunter who roamed the forest near that village. People from outside rarely visited, and the villagers themselves almost never left. But there was one exception, a young man named Rico. Rico had left the village to study journalism in the city. Now, during his vacation, he had come back home. He had told his friend Pedro about the village and its legend. Pedro was an adventurous person. The headless hunter story fascinated him, so he insisted on coming along to spend the holidays in Rico's village. Meanwhile, something strange happened near the village. Not far from the village, there was a police station where an elderly man suddenly walked in, trembling, unable to speak, his face filled with fear. The officers calmed him down, gave him some water and asked, "What happened? Why are you so scared?" The man, still shaking, finally managed to speak. I am a taxi driver. A while ago, a strange man got into my taxi. He was dressed completely in black from head to toe, a long black coat, black pants, and a massive black hat that covered his entire face. The officers frowned. And then, he never told me where he wanted to go, the driver continued. He just kept giving me directions. Go here, turn there, until we reached the haunted village. Then, just outside the jungle, he told me to stop. The police officer leaned forward. And what happened next? The driver's voice shook. I stopped the car. I turned around to ask him what next, but he was gone, completely vanished. The car door never opened. There was no sound, just gone. The room fell silent. That was no human, the driver whispered. It was something else. The police officers exchanged glances, then sighed. You must be mistaken. That area is near the haunted village. Maybe your mind played tricks on you. They dismissed him and sent him away. Back in the village, Rico showed Pedro around, introduced him to childhood friends and shared village stories. But Pedro had one thing on his mind. Come on, Rico. Take me there. I want to see the headless hunter for myself. Pedro insisted. Rico shook his head. No way. That place is dangerous. Anyone who goes there never comes back. Pedro laughed. Rico, you're educated. How can you believe in such stories? It's not just a story, Pedro, Rico said seriously. I've heard it since I was a child. I'm telling you, stay away. But Pedro's curiosity was unstoppable. He thought, if Rico won't take me, I'll go on my own. The next morning, Pedro lied to Rico. I'm going to explore the nearby villages. I'll be back by evening. But he never returned. Rico searched everywhere, throughout the village, in the nearby towns, but Pedro was nowhere to be found. The next morning, a call came into the police station. A headless body was found outside the jungle. The villagers gathered. Rico was among them, and when he saw the body, his blood ran cold. It was Pedro. He could recognize him even without the head. Rico collapsed to his knees. It was his responsibility to keep Pedro safe, and he had failed. The police arrived. They searched for clues but found nothing. The villagers already knew the answer. This is the work of the headless hunter. Later, trying to clear his mind, Rico went to visit an old childhood friend. As they sat, Rico's eyes fell on a watch on the table. Something about it felt familiar. Where did you get this? He asked. His friend shrugged. My father gave it to me. He said it was a gift. Rico froze. His father? But his father is just a taxi driver. How could he afford this? Then it hit him. He had seen this watch before. It was Pedro's watch. A chill ran down Rico's spine. Rico rushed to the police station and asked for pictures of Pedro's body. When he saw them, his worst fear was confirmed. Pedro's wrist was bare. The watch was missing. Rico's mind raced. Did that taxi driver take the watch from Pedro's dead body? Determined, Rico secretly followed the driver for 2 days. Then he saw it, the man digging under a tree. He pulled out a box, placed it in his taxi, and drove off. Rico followed him into the jungle. Deep inside, the driver entered a small cabin where 4 other villagers were waiting. When they all left, Rico sneaked inside. He found the box, and when he opened it, he nearly screamed. Inside was Pedro's head. Rico later confronted the driver, showing him the photos he had taken. The driver sighed and confessed. 40 years ago, a mining company came to our village. We fought them, but they still took our land. Then, a terrible explosion killed many of our families, including our fathers. After that, we swore we would let no outsider take our home. We spread the legend of the Headless Hunter, so people would stay away, pounded. And when someone didn't leave, the driver's eyes darkened. Then, we made sure they never left. Rico gasped. The driver nodded. Yes, and we cut off their heads so people would believe the legend. Rico was in shock. This wasn't a ghost story. It was a lie, a deadly one. Rico was shaking with anger. Looking straight into the taxi driver's eyes, he said, "Do you even realize what a huge crime you've committed? If the police find out, do you know what will happen to you?" The taxi driver took a deep breath and replied in a calm voice, "If this secret gets out, it won't just be the 5 of us. More than half of the villagers will be sentenced to death." Rico was stunned. "Why the others? This was your doing." The taxi driver looked at him and revealed the bitter truth. "We weren't the only ones who lost our family members in that mining disaster. Almost everyone from our generation knew the truth." Then he continued, "We were afraid that if outsiders came here, the same destruction would happen again. So, we started telling your generation, the younger ones, stories about the Headless Hunter from childhood. We made sure you believed in the legend so that you would fear it and never allow outsiders to enter this village." Rico held his head in disbelief. His mind had gone numb. To protect your home, to save your land, to take revenge for your families, was this really the right way? He trembled with rage. "Do you even realize how many lives you have destroyed?" The taxi driver remained silent, but guilt was clear in his eyes. Now, Rico faced a terrifying decision. Should he seek justice for his friend Pedro, even if it meant destroying the village? Or should he bury this horrifying truth forever? What should Rico do? Now, Rico is torn. If he goes to the police, half the village, including innocent families, will be destroyed. If he stays silent, Pedro will never get justice. This story was shared online by someone using the name Rico, though all names and places were changed to hide his identity. But his moral dilemma is real. What do you think he should do? Should he go to the police, or should he protect his village? Comment below and let us know.